Teyvat is hell, and I'm not just talking about the gotcha system.
Ah, poo.
Yes, I would like to elaborate, thank you. Teyvat is underground, split into 9 regions, each ruled over by a demon-associated being, and in conflict with a divine-coded floating civilization in the clouds with heaven in the damn title. Yes, I did just say Teyvat is underground, didn't I? Allow me to explain. Why is Teyvat hell? Reason 1. Teyvat is underground. Yeah, Teyvat would likely look like this. Horrifying, I know. This is a very well-known theory within the community, and let me give you the quick version. Evidence Teyvat is underground. 1. We know in-universe that Teyvat was flipped upside down 500 years ago, as stated in the official Genshin Impact website. Reason 2. In Unreconciled Stars, Scaramouche confirms that the sky we see in Genshin is fake, which would make sense if the universe is upside down and there's no real sky to view. Side note, this raises a worrying idea. If the sky is painted on, is this thing even there, or part of the illusion? Or is it actually there? But is it even Celestia then? Or is something else, trapped down here with us, just out of reach? Reason 3 Teyvat is underground. Irminsul. Irminsul? Irminsul. I had to look this up for you guys. I hope you appreciate how much work I put into this. I had to watch a YouTube video. I know. Irminsul is confirmed to be the World Tree, the truly massive tree whose roots dictate the flow of ley lines and mana throughout Teyvat. And I could talk for hours about this thing, and will if I get the chance. But what is concerning is we can't find it. Now, we can find its roots, piercing the ground, emerging up and pointing towards the sky, quotation marks, which would make sense if we assume that Teyvat is underground and Irminsul is on the surface of the world. Reason 4, the Abyss. The Abyss is a big hole in the ground, but for those lucky few who have managed to progress far enough into the Abyss to actually start getting their primos, you might notice something weird. The further down you go into the Abyss, the more open and airy it becomes, until you can finally culminate in what seems to be a night sky. This also makes sense if we assume we're actually burrowing upwards towards a genuine sky. Reason 5, Ab Astra Abyssosk. Bet you've heard that a lot, haven't you, traveler? That phrase translates to the stars and the abyss. This makes sense if the abyss is actually closer to the stars than we are. This implies that going down into the abyss is actually bringing us closer towards the genuine sky, like in Reason 4. This concludes reasons Teyvat is most likely underground. Well, the abridged version, but I only have so much coffee. Reason 2 Teyvat is hell. Its regions, the 9 circles. Does hell have 9 circles? Yes. And does Teyvat have 9 regions? Yup. Alright, case closed. Reason 3, the Archons are demons. Alright, fine, I'll give a little more detail, but this really is only a very small piece. There's a lot of depictions of hell, and my favorite one is this. Not that we're talking about that. We're actually talking about the modern world's most go-to and favorable canon for hell. Say it with me, Dante's Inferno. There, hell is famously depicted as being an underground civilization made up of 9 regions, going endlessly down and culminating in a harsh, frozen land. And yes, Genshin is also said to have 9 prominent regions. And no, we don't count the teapot. It would upset Tubby. The 7 regions of the Archons, the godless land of Karnria, and a final confrontation where it all began in Celestia. Now, I guess you could actually claim that Celestia doesn't count as a region of Teyvat, which leaves only 8 regions for 9 circles of hell, which I agree. I would also add... Why am I British now? I would also add that in Dante's Inferno, Limbo is counted as the first ring of hell, which is stupid. Everyone knows Limbo is its own sort of in-betweeny kind of place, and shouldn't count as hell. Bringing us back up to either 9 circles for 9 regions, or 8 circles for 8 regions, whichever you find more convincing. And yes, Genshin, like Dante's Inferno, is building up to an epic confrontation in a frozen land, before likely bringing its main character into heaven, or the heaven analogy. Don't tell El Dante Alighieri the copyright law has been invented. Most players will eventually encounter something disturbing on their playthrough, and it's not the 3 fates we got for Lenten, right? Nor is it the fact that the game is absolutely convinced that Dehar is a 5-star. I hate you. Why are all the Archons named after demons? Venti is Barbatos, named after the 4th Duke of Hell. Zhongli is Morax, the 3rd President of Hell, and yeah, Hell has a democracy, go figure. I wonder if the rings have to worry about gerrymandering. L is Beelzebul, pretty clearly Beelzebub, the 1st King of Hell. I mean, sort of, it's Baal, but we don't have time for that. Nahida is Björ, the 1st President of Hell. Focalor is the 14th Duke of Hell. Murata is not out yet, so we don't know her demonic title. We also don't know the Cryo Archon's demonic title, but the Tsaritsa is not the name of a demon, but a saint. Many theorize the Cryo Archon is actually the hero of the story, and that we'll end up joining forces with her to defeat Celestia, hence her having no demonic title. Specifically, all of these demons are from the Ars Goetia, which... No, not that one. I wish. Both Hot Aldad and the Archons draw from the same inspiration, the Lesser Key of Solomon and its 72 demons. Though, there is one more demon we haven't talked about, and it's a character we're close to, the second greatest of the demons, Paimon. It's clear that the writers wanted the Archons to be connected to demons. There are 100 reasons one could do this, but it's safe to say this connection is deliberate. We are meant to associate the Archons with demons. Reason 4 to that is hell. Conflict with the divine. Now we're going to be in conflict with Celestia. Boy howdy we are. The core of the story is my sibling was kidnapped, and guess who the kidnapper is? Good old Tish. We may fight the Archons, the Abyss, and our siblings themselves, but the sustainer of heavenly principles is due for the biggest can of whoop-ass the store has to offer. And what good hell allegory isn't in conflict with the divine? Reason 5 to that is hell. The 7 deadly sins. Alright, I actually don't find this bit convincing, but I'm including it for the sake of completeness. Some people like to map the sins to the 7 Archons. Venti is sloth, because he doesn't rule, he drinks like Gandalf. Zhongli is, well, the god of money, associated with the color gold, inventor of capitalism, literal maker of all the money in Teyvat, so he's clearly lust. Oops, I meant greed. Raiden is pride, because of the everything about her. Nahida is associated with the color green, so she's envy, because these 7 deadly sins theories always have one awkward leftover sin to map onto one character who it just doesn't quite fit. Focalor is the god of the modern nation of technology, fashion, photos, food, convenience, so she's gluttony. Murata is the red god of war and ruler of the nation of eternal war, so she's wrath. And the Tsaritsa is lust. While her archonic ideal has never been stated outright, she's always been associated with love, or specifically her loss of the ability to love. She is called the god with no love left for her people. Just how I'm called the god of mic pops. Jesus. More plosives, let's go! Pah! Wait, what was I talking about? When Zhong Li lists all of the Archon's ideals in Chapter 2, he avoids mentioning hers directly, instead suggesting that it may have changed during the Cataclysm 500 years ago. Scaramouche will also go on to associate her with love, specifically referring to it as a sin. Yeah, this is a little bit grasping at straws, but to be fair, the Tsaritsa has 0 screen time. She's quite mysterious, so we only have a small amount of things to go on at this point. But the foreshadowing implies that she is most likely going to be associated with love. Personally, I find this a little bit weak sauce, as any group of 7 will eventually become associated with the sins, just as no work of fiction can ever escape the theory that the main character is in a coma, nor the creepypasta of the lost scary episode. But it's fun, and having all of the evidence at hand is a virtue when you're doing a fan theory. Conclusion. So, is Teyvat hell? No, Teyvat is clearly an entirely different fictional setting. No, that's hardly the point, is it? No, what you really want to know is, did the writers design Teyvat with these parallels in mind? Or is this one of those dumb, the whole story is a coma theories that can really be applied to literally any story? I swear to God, if it were possible, I'd name my videos like light novels. This video would be, Teyvat's writing clearly intended the story to have a number of parallels with the Ars Goetia and its demons, and how can we use this information to better contextualize the story and understand it and predict what's going to happen? Christ, I'm gonna need a Patreon someday. The algorithm's gonna eat me alive. Sorry, is Teyvat hell? No, I don't think so. But I do think it was written with hellish parallels in mind, which is more important. Knowing an author's intent can give us insight into how the world was assembled and how the story will progress. If you see Lovecraft on the title, you can hazard a guess that the story isn't going to have a happy ending. If you see Brandon Sanderson, you can expect that all of the arranged marriages are going to work out really well for some reason. Also expect a higher density of crabs than is usual. Author intent can be useful. In this case, I think these demonic parallels are both absolutely intended and useful for predicting the story to come. For example, I find this one of the more convincing arguments that the Cryo Archon is actually going to be a good guy. So, there's all of the evidence. Decide what you'd like. Do I believe Teyvat is hell? No. But it's close.